A few months ago, I made a video titled Creative Assembly and Woke Hammer, where I'm basically discussing what wokeness means in Fantasy Warhammer, in particular, the Total War Warhammer series. Long story short, some users were in denial of Creative Assembly, the company behind the Total War series development, slowly injecting woke elements into their game. I was presenting strong arguments, I think. The inclusion of Mary Sue's, gender mixed armies, Creative Assembly's original female characters looking ugly as fuck, the whole 9 yards. But no matter how many good arguments I had, the people I was arguing with just refused to accept them. They were just in complete denial. To me, this only proves one thing. If you dangle the right kind of shiny stuff in front of the average person, they'll throw away their principles in an instant, proving that the average person doesn't have any to begin with. If you know me, you already know that I saw this shit coming well over a year ago. Back when Baldur's Gate 3 came out. I said it back then and I'll say it again. One day, gaming companies will figure out how to inject woke trash in their games while producing something that's actually decent. And when that day comes, everyone that claims to be anti-woke or anti-SJW will throw away their principles in a heartbeat just so they can get on the same side as the popular opinion. Lo and behold, that day has arrived. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is here. This is a game that was known for giving the middle finger to the gaming press by telling journalists to fuck right off when they were demanding the inclusion of people of color in 15th century Bohemia. Well, it didn't take long for the developers to sell out their integrity with this sequel. They've actually added a black guy from the Muslim kingdom of Mali, telling Europeans how great his country is compared to theirs, and how they treat women better than they do. What a fucking joke. And if that wasn't cringe enough, they went ahead and added the option to turn the main character, Henry, into a gay dude. But where's the crowd that's been fighting against the message all these years? The motherfuckers that were building careers over this shit. Well, guess what? They sold out too. Fucking crickets, man. You have the writer and game director Daniel Vavra lying to everyone. Turning Henry gay or adding a black guy in medieval Europe was kept a secret for pretty much the entire promotional campaign. And if you don't consider this lying, hiding the truth is just as bad. This is a betrayal to the original fanbase from Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 in an attempt to attract the average shit-for-brains tourist that never even played the original. Thank God for whoever leaked the screenshots, otherwise we'd never know. But do these YouTube journalists and critics have anything to say about this? Of course not. They're going along with the flow, revealing their true colors as the grifters they always were. And the reason why is simple. They have no principles. Their opinions sway and change with the times. Either that or they have no balls to speak out and say what they're thinking for fear of losing subscribers or their early access. Things have to get really, really bad before any of these spineless fuckers finally say anything against the injection of political ideas in gaming or history. In other words, you can't trust any of them to hold the line and gatekeep male-centered entertainment. They will wait until the average Joe finally gets tired of any woke shit to say their piece and echo what everyone wants to hear. Because that is what they fear, the average normie, the average tourist. And this goes for any political agenda inserted in entertainment, by the way. The average normie thinks, if this guy is against the inclusion of gay sex or the inclusion of diversity, that means he must be a racist or a homophobe. The average person is fucking stupid. They can't separate the topic of forced diversity and actual racism or homophobia. To them, being a customer that wants an accurate representation of history without the inclusion of presentism or leftist ideologies instantly makes you a bigot. As if my personal taste in entertainment was a reflection of my actual worldviews. To them, you're either an ally or an enemy. It's all identity politics, plain and simple. Just try to present arguments against the inclusion of an African guy in medieval Europe or any gay shit for that matter, and you'll get attacked right away. You must like their pathetic and lazy ideas of representation and culture, or you're a bigot. These people are so indoctrinated by the popular narrative that they will pick up random fights on the internet with anyone that disagrees with it, quite literally enslaved by a narrative that's not even their own. To give you an example, here's an argument I've discussed in 3 different conversations across YouTube and Twitter. When the black guy tells Henry how great his African country is compared to Europe, he uses gender equality as one of the reasons why it's a better place. So my point was, how is this not woke or an insertion of modern political views? And I got the same response over and over from different people. The replies were something like, he's just a foreigner boasting about his country, which is a brain-dead argument that falls apart if you think about it for like 2 seconds. Why would a Muslim in the 1400s use gender equality as an argument to measure his country as a better place than Europe? That's so stupid. You can't even find a real Muslim today that will honestly argue like that. When comparing countries in this manner, people always use the same chauvinistic arguments. My country has a better army, my country has more land, my country has more athletes, artists, or scientists. That's how a normal conversation will go. Only a retard will say, well, in my country, we respect women. Say that and you'll be laughed out of the room. That's the way the world works. And it probably was worse 700 years ago.
Yes. But I am more white than you. You look gypsy. I am blonde hair. Blonde hair I have. You gypsy.
That means that someone fucked your mother that is Turkish, but your father is not. Your mother is a whore and she got fucked from someone.
Turkish, white, Greek, brown, gypsy.
Turkish
You're not
white.
European. You are white. White. You gypsy, brown.
You are weak sperm. You are weak sperm. This is the strong sperm. This is the Greek god. Okay, Greek god. You are a fucking fuck god.
If you have Greek god, you would have win, but you lose.
Lose where? Lose where?
You lose. Why is Hagia Sophia this, not?
Also, if I'm not convincing enough, and you really want to push this argument, the conclusion you derive from this narrative is that Mali as a country peaked 700 years ago. As of 2019, Mali ranks 184th place out of 189 countries as the worst place to be a woman, whereas the Czech Republic sits in 24th place, which is slightly better than the US. I'm not making this up. This is from a study done by the United Nations. So to all of you liberal white trash out there supporting this narrative, your argument is ironically something that's more in line with the kind of arguments the far right will say. Anyway, the gay stuff is even worse than the forced diversity. For starters, the tourists are comparing it to Mass Effect, a sci-fi game from 18 years ago, where the same-sex options were available from the start. Commander Shepard was customizable to that extent from Game 1 to 3. In Kingdom Come 1, Henry was always straight, and I don't care if it's optional. Henry wasn't a character created with the goal of customizing his very nature. Henry has an established personality, likes and dislikes. Compare it to, let's say, Arthur Morgan. Sure, you can be an asshole in-game, but even while doing evil stuff, Arthur stays Arthur. Same for Henry. Now there's a rumor that says the gay romantic option is Henry's best friend from Kingdom Come 1, which only makes things worse if true. Whatever friendship they had, it's down the fucking toilet now that we know these two can go down that road if the player chooses to do so. Meaning that there's an underlying sentiment for sexual attraction whether you choose to or not. Everything must be fucking gay or excessively sentimental. They want to demoralize you under the excuse of you can do anything in game, which is a bullshit response by the way. Saying you can do anything in a game is thought hardware tier bullshitting. Truth is, these people don't want us to have male ideals or role models. That's the woke agenda's real purpose. They repeat it constantly. So this is no conspiracy theory. They want to tear down the patriarchy, but they don't have the balls to do anything meaningful in real life, so they infiltrate your hobbies and entertainment. All they can do is annoy other people. And what's the average response to this? Baseless labeling, strawman arguments, or gaslighting. The Western man is so emasculated that they'll resort to petty female tactics to make their case or try to win an argument. It's painful to see. What's more painful is how these companies are desperate to add diversity, but they just don't know how. Diversity used to mean something. It wasn't just about inserting a foreign or gay character into a story. It was about crafting foreign ideas in those stories to present them to your intended local audience. As much as I hate anime, Japanese writers have always been good at this. They'll explore foreign beliefs or characters outside their own cultural bubble to open up Japanese audiences to new concepts. And they do this without forgetting who their customers are, Japanese people. This is why anime will always have its own unique flair and identity, unlike Western media that tries to pander to the whole world, as if Westerners knew exactly how the rest of the world thinks or what they want. It's fucking pathetic. The audacity of these tourists to pretend they are fans of the original game. Before the controversy, there was no one else but the original fanbase that was looking forward to Kingdom Come 2. And then the controversies began popping up a month before the release date, and suddenly now everybody's talking about it. Either the leaks were on purpose to create user engagement, or Warhorse Studios really wanted to pull a switcheroo at the last minute. It's crazy how this is the only way gaming companies can make it to the next level these days. You gotta include diversity and inclusion, or else your game won't be promoted or nominated for any awards. Mark my words, you will see Kingdom Come 2 nominated for several categories in the next Game Awards. Jeff Keighley has set everything up to work exactly like it does in Hollywood. It's the fucking South Park meme.
We were just discussing ideas of what to do with the new Prince Eric movie.
Put a chick in it, make her gay!
Maybe we should go a different route than we did with Indiana Jones.
Fuck Indiana Jones, put a chick in it and make her name it gay!
Sure, yeah. Well, let's try that. Again.
The silver lining to all of this is now we can see who has a backbone or not. When politics and modern standards are injected into a franchise out of the blue, you can't sit on the fence anymore and say I don't care, because that's the kind of apathy these activists are looking for. That's how they find their way to slowly start inserting their own ideologies. They want to normalize them, to convince the normie their way is the right way, the right mindset. The new zeitgeist, if you will. Fuck these centrists. They are part of the problem. They are the reason the gaming industry hit new lows in 2024. And again, to reiterate the point, not wanting forced diversity or any progressive ideology in your entertainment does not make you take a stance against these concepts. Me not wanting a forced black guy or gay romance doesn't make me racist or homophobic. Giving in to this logic is validating the political blackmail that these motherfuckers have on culture. They can go back to BreadTube or Twitter or whatever else they like to waste their time spreading their political agenda. And if you thought wokeness was somehow going out of style after the 2024 US election, think again. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, all of these capital investment companies are nowhere near done yet. They'll never stop funding this shit. They'll never change their ways. They will only rebrand and try again because they have the influence and because they can afford it. And that's all I gotta say. Thanks for listening. Bye.